In the heart of the dense African savanna, a giraffe named Gerald tried to grasp some leaves from a tree. Unbeknownst to him, his tongue had wrapped around a branch, and as he yanked his head back, part of the branch snapped and came flying toward him. Gerald gave a startled jump, his legs sprawling in every possible direction, looking both bewildered and embarrassed. Meanwhile, in the Arctic, a polar bear named Patty decided to investigate a curious-looking pool of water. She leaned in a bit too close, lost her balance, and tumbled in, her expression going from curious to utterly baffled in mid-fall. In the Amazon jungle, a sloth named Sam slowly reached for a delectable-looking fruit. Just as he was about to grab it, a mischievous monkey named Manny swooped in, snatched the fruit, and gave Sam a cheeky grin. Sam's slow-motion gasp of surprise was a sight to see. Over in the Australian outback, a kangaroo named Kip took on the challenge of bounding over a series of rocks. Halfway through his stunt, he misjudged the distance and landed face-first into a sandy patch, blinking in surprise as a small lizard walked by, seemingly shaking its head in disdain. Back in the savannah, a meerkat named Molly stood as the self-appointed lookout for her. She tried to do a dramatic spin to signal danger, but ended up tripping over her own tail, causing a chain reaction of tripping meerkats. They all glared at her, their mock indignation making her blush. In North America, near a bustling river, a beaver named Benny was busy constructing his latest dam. Suddenly, he slipped on a log and made a spectacular belly flop into the water, splashing a nearby family of ducks who quacked in surprise and then disapprovingly waddled away. On the icy fringes of Antarctica, an emperor penguin named Percy fancied himself a dancer. He attempted a grand twirl on the ice, only to have his feet slip out from under him. He landed on his belly, sliding to a stop in front of a group of unimpressed seals. Across the plains of India, an elephant named Ellie had a penchant for sneezing. One day, during a particularly monumental sneeze, she knocked over a small tree, much to the bewilderment of the birds perched on it. They scattered, chirping crossly, while Ellie, with watery eyes, gave them an apologetic trumpet. In the heart of the mangrove swamps, a crocodile named Clyde basked in the sun with his mouth wide open. As he dozed, a cheeky frog named Freddie jumped into his mouth and out again, leaving Clyde in a confused daze when he awoke. High up in the mountains, a mountain goat named Greta fancied herself a gymnast. While attempting to scale a steep cliff, she miscalculated her leap and ended up dangling by one hoof from a jutting rock. She bleated indignantly, trying to maintain her dignity as her friends silently chuckled. Deep in the Rockies, a moose named Monty stumbled across a patch of fermented berries. After eating a few, he began to weave and wobble, his antlers bobbing erratically as he tried to navigate his way through the forest, much to the amusement of a passing squirrel. In the wetlands, a flamingo named Fiona was busy trying to perfect her one-legged stance. A sudden gust of wind caught her off guard, causing her to topple sideways into a mud puddle. She stood up, covered in mud, and ruffled her feathers in a huff as the other flamingos snickered. In a dense bamboo forest in China, a panda named Pippin found himself in a clumsy predicament. His attempt to swing from one bamboo stalk to the next ended in him getting tangled in a mass of leaves, and he slumped to the ground with an exasperated sigh. Back on the savannah, a cheetah named Chase prided himself on his speed and agility. During a particularly energetic sprint, he misjudged a termite mound and went flying head over paws, landing in a not-so-graceful heap, while a nearby gazelle looked on with what could only be amusement.